Welcome, everybody, to another live edition of the Unquestionably Raw NBA podcast. I am your host, Matt Miller, and today we've got my man Brady Klopfer, we got DJ Gonzo Star, and we got Byron back with us again. It's about time. It's been a while. It's been too long. We're glad to have you back. The energy is going to be there. It's going to be fun, but I want to get started. We had two games tonight. We had Cavs and Raptors. First game, Cavs, they go up 3-0 again. I'm going to you, Gonzo. Did you see anything? I know Kyle Lowry was out, but did you see anything tonight from the Raptors that gives you any confidence that they can even win a game?
I saw DeRozan, and I haven't seen anything that will make them win a game. I finally figured out what the offense the Raptors are running. I figured out what it's called. It's called the extinction offense. That's exactly what they're running, and they're going to be out of this playoffs in no time. There's no competition for LeBron James in the East. That's what's so easy.
Gonzo, are you saying the Raptors are extinct?
They can stick a fork in it because it's well done.
Nice. I like it. I like it. Short and sweet. Brady, I'm going to you. Anything you think the Raptors have a chance? I mean, obviously the Cavs, like, to get a game. It's over. It's 3-0. No team has ever come back. It's not happening. But can they get game 4?
I wouldn't put money on it, but it could happen. The Cavs were sleepwalking for about 3/4 of this game. If they decide to do that again in game 4, and the Raptors shot 2 for 18 from 3. If they make a decent amount, then they have a chance at the game. They have absolutely no chance at extending this past 5 games. But if the Cavs sleepwalk, then they could steal one. But it's going to be the Cavs losing it, not the Raps winning it. There's just too big of a discrepancy.
Absolutely. Byron, do you see the Raptors getting a game here? The series is over. But Byron, can the Raptors get a game?
The series is over unless they are the Raptors, man. Maybe if they go watch Jurassic Park and you know what I mean, and learn some moves from. I'm talking about the original, the 1993 one, man. Maybe they learn to open some doors and open some plays up. So something like that, maybe, man. But I don't see it happening, man. And wow, I just say, I'm looking forward to the next series, man. It is like Gonzo said, man. There it is.
Absolutely, and I had a few notes for this game. Brady, you pretty much touched on every last one of mine. The big one was the Cavs coasting through 3 quarters, and I was sitting. I'm still visiting my parents, and me and my dad are watching. And I looked at them. I'm like, they're gonna coast for 3 quarters. Come fourth quarter, they're going to put their foot on the Raptors' throats and they're going to pound them. I didn't think they'd beat the snot out of them as much as they did, but when they got up 9 within the first 3, I was like, yeah, it didn't shock me. LeBron is literally toying with these clowns.
Oh,
like in the last game, he's spinning the ball twice before shooting a 3 like it's a free throw. He's switching hands in the air, shooting left-handed floaters. I mean, he's just out there toying with them, having fun, proving, Brady and I, we're both Curry guys, Byron is a LeBron guy, but, at the end of the day, this dude is better than everybody in the entire NBA, and it's not even close.
Not even close.
As good as Kawhi is, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, those guys, it's not even close. This dude he's fantastic. I think they sweep just because I don't think the Raptors can get a game. The Cavs want that rest. They fooled around last year in the conference finals. It went 6. They want to get that rest. They want to get to Boston or Washington, sweep that series, and get all that rest because they're going to need it when they play the Golden State Warriors. Unless there's an injury, that's what we're getting. But let's talk about the game of the night, Spurs versus Rockets. Byron, I'm going to go to you for this one because you are our Rockets fan here. So I got to get your thoughts on this game, man. What went wrong for the Rockets?
You said you're asking me first?
Yeah, I'm asking you first. What went wrong for your Rockets?
I don't know, man. Some of the calls were questionable to me, especially going back to the first quarter when they called up that dunk off the pass to Patrick Beverley. I mean, come on, man. And then I don't know what's going on right now. I thought the intensity would be there for the Rockets, especially seeing how there's no Tony Parker. But like I've always said, Popovich, man, probably one of the greatest 3 coaches of all time, man.
Not one of the 3 greatest, the greatest coach.
After that, top 3. After that blowout game 1, I knew that he would make some sort of adjustments to combat the Rockets, man, and what their coach is doing, man, and what D'Antoni is doing. And I think that the danger with the Spurs is almost like the Cavs of old that were coached by Fratello. Like he would slow games down, slow the pace down, and then he would get other teams to play the basketball that he wanted them to play, and that the Spurs are good at winning. And I think that's what's happening, man. It's like the pace of the game it's kind of being slowed down.
Spurs favor. It's in the Spurs' favor.
Right, and they were getting suffocated in certain instances. And then the thing is, they know that if the Rockets get running and if those threes are falling and their motion is good, they cannot compete with them because they're too old. I thought Kawhi was it was exciting. It was it was exciting. Seeing the back and forth between him and Harden, and unfortunately the home team lost at home, and I think that they have no choice but to tie it. And if they tie
if they lose, it's over.
Yeah, if they tie it, we have a series. So luckily they're still at home, and they have no choice but to tie it.
So let me ask you this then, Byron. Obviously, you mentioned Tony Parker's out, right? You think that had an effect on the Rockets? Like, Tony Parker's out. We're just going to come in and we'll beat these guys. We're at home. We'll beat them.
I don't think it's just that. I mean, I think the poise in some areas is a little off, man. It's not there with everybody. I just think that they need to play. I don't see James Harden making some of the same plays that showed that he should be the MVP, like in terms of like how he distributed the ball to the big man in the first series against OKC.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Brady, I'm going to you. What did you see from that kind of disappointed you from the Rockets? What were you impressed with by the Spurs?
To me, on both ends, it was about mismatches. I thought Pop did an absolutely incredible job this game. I think he was, if the coach can be the star of the game, I think he was. They opened up with Aldridge guarding Ariza and Danny Green guarding Ryan Anderson, which I thought was a brilliant move, and it really disrupted that Rockets offense because Kawhi and Green were able to switch every time they run that Harden-Anderson pick and roll. And Danny Green is just so much better at defending a pick and roll than Aldridge was, and they were really able to hide Aldridge just kind of hanging out in the corner on Ariza. And I thought that really disrupted Houston. And then on the other side, Houston was kind of trying to do some similar things, but with a lot less success. I know there was a time early on where I got a little frustrated with the Spurs because the Rockets were guarding David Lee with James Harden just straight up, and the Spurs weren't going to it. But eventually they started going to those mismatches.
I noticed the Spurs in my notes. I noticed especially it was really just the first quarter. The Spurs were taking a lot of quick shots, contested shots, playing a lot of one-on-one, and it played right into the Rockets' hands.
Absolutely.
And that's why if you look, the Rockets were up 2 at the end of 1. They were shooting 25%. The Spurs were shooting 35%. The Rockets were still up 2. The Rockets controlled the pace the first quarter, but that was it.
Yep, absolutely. And as a result, I mean, once the Spurs started settling down and looking for their shots, they were able to get what Houston was giving them. And Aldridge, Lee, and Powell had 42 points combined, 18 of 30 shooting.
Yep,
the Rockets
that was big.
Weren't making an effort to defend those guys. They were trying to shut down the three, trying to shut down Kawhi, and the Spurs feasted on those mismatches.
Absolutely. Gonzo, what did you think from this game? What impressed you by the Spurs? What kind of upset you with what the Rockets did?
Well, I mean, I think the Rockets played their game. I think that the Spurs were just well coached, and I think that the adjustments that they made were excellent. I thought they were going to, like we said in the podcast the other night, I was talking about where would this extra scoring come from. And I talked specifically about Patty Mills and Simmons. Those two guys can make up for Parker. But it wasn't really so much on scoring. I mean, Patty he had 15 points. I think Simmons had 7 and 6, but it was the energy that they gave. DeJounte Murray starting in the beginning. I think that he's young, and I think his legs are younger than Tony Parker's, which kind of gave the Spurs a little more youth tonight, more so than the experience of Tony Parker, which I think helped.
Especially on the defensive end, because now Murray's guarding Beverly.
Absolutely, and what I like the pick and roll. LaMarcus Aldridge is not really him and Paul Gasol are not good pick and roll defenders. But what they were doing on the pick and roll, I like what they were doing. It was pretty much like they were pretending like they were going to switch. They were giving James Harden and let him score, and he was cutting him off from bounce passes to Capella. And the moment he passed behind the three-point line, the guards were running out, chasing guys on the line, trying to contest the threes. So most of the Rockets' threes were contested threes. LaMarcus Aldridge, he came a big tonight, 26 and 7, I think. Kawhi did, what Kawhi does, but much credit to Paul Gasol because what he's done these last two games on the offensive rebounding, side. I think last game he had 10 or 12 rebounds, and I think tonight he had 9 and he had 12 points. And
in the last game he had the 4 blocks as well, and Aldridge had at least 4 blocks tonight.
Absolutely, and I think he put up 4 assists, and he gave 2 key assists in the fourth quarter when he gave the bounce pass underneath to Aldridge related to a 3-point play. He gave Aldridge the lob. But what he's doing on the offensive end is he's eliminating guys like Nene and Capella. Nene hasn't looked the same the last 2 games since Paul Gasol has been getting those offensive rebounds and tipping the ball back out. He hasn't looked the same. I think tonight he had 1 point. He was like 0 for 4, 0 for 5 shooting.
0 for 5.
0 for 5. And I think the last game his stats didn't look as good as well. So Paul
and like we discussed earlier, Gonzo, Nene, 3 of his 5 shots were 2 were just medium range shots. The other one was a step back medium range shot. That's not what the Rockets want to do. They want threes and layups.
Exactly. And what they did was they kept James Harden from getting in the groove, assisting the ball. Like I said, shots were contested. I think it's an excellent game plan by Coach Pop. And it just goes to show you why he is, in my opinion, the greatest coach to ever coach the NBA game. I've said it for so long. I think Phil Jackson was an opportunist. I think he's always jumped down and coached players that he knew that he could coach. He would jump down and coach superstars. That's why he wasn't so eager to come down and coach his Knicks job, because he knew that.
Although, where I will play devil's advocate, and I think Byron will back me up. Brady, you're in LA as well. You'll back me up on this. Well, no. 2000, when Phil came back to coach the Lakers, they were playing with Kwame Brown, Smush Parker. That was a team picked to finish dead last, and they damn near upset the Suns in the first round that year with MVP. So I think Phil can coach, but I think you're on to something. And I think I don't have him as the greatest coach of all time. I'm with you on that. He has to have great players to be super successful. But I think he's somewhat of an overrated coach, but I don't think he's that overrated. Go ahead though. I had to throw that in there.
And that's true. He did almost, but almost only counts in horseshoe and hand grenades.
True. That is true. So, thank you.
You got to complete the task.
Throwing it back at me.
So
yes.
Almost really doesn't count.
But if Kwame Brown doesn't jump at that damn Tim Thomas fake in the game 6, LA wins that series. But yeah, I blame Kwame Brown for that one. But that's enough of that.
I blame Mike Jordan for drafting him first pick.
Yes.
But
go ahead, Gonzo.
I just want to give credit to Pop, because I don't think that. I know we appreciate it, but I don't think fans really appreciate what he does as a coach. First of all,
he is the greatest coach of all time.
Guys who are the most athletic. He never gets the guys who jumps the highest. He never gets the guys who have the physical stature of a freaking nature like a LeBron James. He doesn't get those type of players. You know what he does? He gets a bunch of international players. He gets players from all over the globe, of all different colors, races, creeds, and they're all specifically good at doing one particular thing. And some of those players, he can coach them to become better at other things in their game. Like look what he's doing with
Kawhi Leonard. Exactly.
And you have to
Kawhi Leonard was a defensive.
So you have to credit the Spurs and that whole, because he was a GM first. you got to credit him for his eye for talent. And it's just like,
Absolutely.
Like Jerry West gets a lot of credit. Like Jerry West is a freaking genius.
Let me throw this out there. Everybody remembers Luis
Popovich. Go ahead.
We remember Luis Scola, right? When he was younger, he was a good basketball player, right?
Yeah.
Who drafted him? The San Antonio Spurs.
Spurs, absolutely.
Exactly.
And he puts this talent together, and he probably plays the most purest game of basketball. It's not about I, myself, me. It's about we, us, our. We're a team.
Yes, I like that because we all saw Kawhi Leonard boom on Capella tonight, right? Most guys would be cheering and yelling, beating their chest. What does Kawhi do? He has a straight face and he runs down the floor.
Same thing Tim Duncan did.
Yes, that's all Greg Popovich.
And they buy in that 1 through 15 young players.
And look, and we all saw LaMarcus Aldridge in Portland. He celebrated. He did things. You don't see him doing that in San Antonio. That is all Greg Popovich.
And you know what?
It's a culture.
It's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's the beauty of it. Your team can buy in and take the personality of the coach. Like I said, there's nobody bragging. There's nobody getting to the podium and saying, you know, oh, I had a real great game tonight. It's we had a great game tonight. Everybody chipped into the win. This is what you would call team basketball, the way basketball was always meant to be played. Mm-hmm. The media has distorted so many different teams, and they have distorted the personality of the NBA. But Greg Popovich is what you when you look at it, you say classic Boston Celtics of the 50s and 60s. Team. It's not about one individual. It's about all of us. It's not about one name.
And here's what's going to be funny. When we go back and we look at history, the media is going to say, well, Popovich had Tony Parker. He had Ginobili. He had these guys. But let's pump the brakes on this for a second. What was Tony Parker was what, the last pick in the first round in 2002, I think. Manu Ginobili got drafted in 99, didn't come over. But what was he, a second round, like 45th pick?
Second round.
Yeah, he was a mid to late second round pick, exactly. So it's not like he just drafted these guys who were supposed to be studs. Tim Duncan, yes. But with that being said, when Tim Duncan was drafted, we knew he was going to be a great player, potential Hall of Famer. Did we think he'd be the greatest power of all forward of all time? No. This dude was first team All NBA as a rookie.
But
so
I mean, they lucked up with that pick too because
David Robinson got injured.
Went down. That was a horrible season. Carl Herrera and Dominique Wilkins were like their best players. Sean Elliott and
but they weren't supposed
Duncan
to get the
should be a Boston Celtic.
He should be. Yeah, the Celtics should have had the number one pick. Yeah. And maybe Rick Pitino still coaching in the NBA if that's the case. But these are some things I noticed about tonight. You guys hit on it with the pace. The Rockets had, I touched on it for the first quarter. The Rockets had the pace, obviously. And what I liked, Brady hit it with how they were putting the switches on defense, but how Powell and Aldridge, when they had to defend the pick and roll, Gonzo kind of, he pretty much hit on it. They would kind of back off and drop down into the paint on that switch. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, God, if I'm James Harden, he's coming off that screen, but he's trying to make that quick move, that quick read. It's not there. And Gonzo said it with that pass. They completely took it away. If I'm Harden, why not wait? Be patient. Wait. If the shot's there, take the open three, the open 17-footer. I know the Rockets don't want it, but it's James Harden. He can make the shot. Or let the big man come out on you, and you can play one-on-one with him like you did in game one. You slice him up. You get open threes. You get to the basket. It's a wrap. But they didn't do that. He's trying to make moves. There's no lane to drop that little bounce pass, the little pocket pass in there for the layup or the dunk. It's not there. Trevor Ariza, great in the first half. He kept the Rockets in it. 15 points, 5 threes. He gets 1 field goal in the second half. He finishes with 17 points. That's not going to get it done. Anderson, he's 0 for 4. You got to get Rhino the ball. There were 4 or 5 opportunities. He's wide open. They completely look him off. You got to get him the basketball. He's a great shooter. Give him the ball. When I kind of knew the game was over, third quarter, it was about 4 minutes to go. Spurs are up 6 points, I think. They had 7 turnovers up to that point. They increased their lead by 2 points from halftime. That tells me the Rockets were trash. And I want to get on this, and it's not necessarily a shot at the Rockets. It's kind of a shot at the entire NBA. And I know Gonzo touches on it all the time with the refs, but please, these players got to stop complaining. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the next call. No more complaining. Just play basketball like the Spurs do. You don't really see the Spurs complain that much. And Gonzo touched on that earlier. They don't complain. They don't whine. Just play basketball. Let the coach whine. Stay out of the ref's face. That's why the Clippers don't get calls. And the Warriors, I know it looks like they get the benefit of the calls. They really don't get the benefit of the calls when you watch those games. They complain too damn much. Them and the Clippers are the 2 biggest complainers in the league, and I'm pro Warriors, but they whine too damn much.
Yep.
Draymond Green, that's Draymond Green's biggest weakness. He complains to the official and he doesn't get back on defense. Let's stop that. But I think this is going to be this game 4 is big for the Rockets. If they can't win this game, it's done. They're not going in San Antonio down 3-1 and winning a game. It's over. And one thing to look out for, and we all, we've watched the NBA for a while. D'Antoni or Popovich has D'Antoni's number.
Yes.
For whatever reason, he's got his number, and he's got it again. And Gonzo mentioned it in the pre-show when we were talking about D'Antoni. Just this style of offense doesn't work come playoff time, and I thought it would against the Spurs. The pace. I thought they could, but man, they are so easy to defend. You know exactly what the Rockets are going to do. You know what a D'Antoni team is going to do. They got the Spurs just got roasted that first game, but they adjusted. And D'Antoni's not making any adjustments, and that's why I say he's getting out-coached. He's sticking to the game plan, and it's not working. Change things up. Stop being on such a hurry on the ball screen on that pick and roll when you're on offense. Be patient with it. Make some changes. If Nene's going to shoot jump shots, take him out of the game. Let's get Capella back in there. I didn't see Capella shoot any medium-range shots. And he still had some points tonight. I'd go to him. Hell, use Montrezl Harrell a little bit if Nene's going to shoot jump shots. Let's go back to Sam Decker a little bit. I know D'Antoni likes to shorten the rotations, but they've got to make some changes here. Let's get Ryan Anderson some shots. If they don't, they're going to be in big trouble. And I think, Byron, you may not like – I think this series is probably over. I just don't see it happening for the Rockets. They self-destructed a little bit tonight. And that's not a good sign.
That's fine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I'm not hating on it.
For the Warriors,
There you go. I knew it was coming. It's all right. We'll get to them tomorrow, Byron.
I don't see it happening for the Bulls. I got to address this because we live, man.
Go ahead.
Bro, stop telling people you're from Houston. You're not. Because you don't support anything that comes.
Here it comes.
I've never seen a person who hates their home team so much.
Let me ask you this.
Never support. Bro, go stay in Illinois. You're not allowed back. Don't go back to Texas. Bro. Stay in Illinois. That's why you live in Illinois right now, and it's probably cold as hell. Because you don't support your own. Gonzo's from Chicago. He supports the Bulls. You know what I'm saying? Alana is from Chicago. She supports the Bulls. Pete is from Philly. He supports the 76ers. Even that, and you're the only person that you have never supported any single team.
I've never been a fan. Hey, but here's the thing. It's not that. See,
bro,
I agree. I don't support Houston teams, but I'm not a hater. I am not a hater.
You're from Illinois. You're not
family. I'm not from Illinois. My whole family is. I am not a hater
you're from Illinois too. Stop.
I am not.
Stop claiming Texas. Don't tell nobody you're from Houston. You eat
He's mad. Hey,
because you don't
put on blast, man.
Anything.
I told you it was coming. I told you.
And it's ridiculous. You want your home team to lose. If the Rockets were playing the Warriors, he would want the Rockets to lose.
I don't want the Rockets. I don't care. I
want
want
to say. If the Astros were playing the Cubs, he would want the Cubs to win and the Astros to lose.
Hey, but Byron, be honest though. Hey, Byron, give me this. Hey, Byron, you got to give me this though, Byron. Who's
playing anybody? He would want the
Byron
to lose.
Hey, but Byron, be honest. Byron, I've never hated on the Texans ever in my life. But be honest, who has been a diehard Cub fan since you met me? And mind you, we've known each other since we were 17.
Because your granddad is from Illinois.
Yeah. Hey, Byron, you have to understand.
And you grew up watching Cubs game with him. It doesn't matter. Your granddad is not from Houston, bro. He's not.
But Byron, no. But Byron, when I started watching baseball, where did I live when I started watching baseball? I lived in Chicago.
Care, bro. I wish you'd have stayed there.
I love I want. Let's be honest here, though. Have I ever hated on the Houston Rockets? Picking against them doesn't mean you hate them.
Gonzo, this boy told me that in '94, the Bulls without Michael Jordan, if they would have got past the Knicks, they would have beat the Rockets, and he wanted the Bulls to win in '94. He didn't want the Rockets to win. This is a boy who was born and raised in Houston, and he want the Rockets to lose.
Hey, you know what though? You know why I said that?
Michael Jordan, bro. Come on.
And I was still, and I still liked the Bulls at that time. But let me ask you this though, Byron. I went to the Bulls game that year in Houston at the Summit, at Compaq Center, whatever the hell. Now it's Lakewood Church. Yeah, they didn't have Scotty, they didn't have Horace Grant. They damn near beat the Rockets. That's why I thought the Bulls would win that series that year. But that's besides the point.
You know how much this boy hates his hometown.
This is why we brought you on.
Y'all hearing this? I had to do this live so that this was going on YouTube and everybody will see how much you. Man, it's ridiculous, man. It's can we talk about that for like 2 minutes? Brady,
Byron. Hey, real quick, Byron. Real quick. Whose show is this, Byron? Whose show is this?
Bro, don't invite me on no more, man.
Byron's been muted. I had to mute him. He's been muted. It's my show. He's not going to take over the show.
Byron,
he's right though. I haven't rooted for the Rockets. I'm going to unmute him now.
You might be muted, Byron, but I'll answer your question. I'm from Northern California.
Byron, you gotta
yes, I'm a Warriors fan.
You got to unmute yourself, Byron. I can't unmute you. There you go. Sorry about that. I had to mute you, Byron. But there you go. You're good, Byron. You're there. He's a Warriors fan. I don't use the mute. I don't use the mute button, but I had to.
Gonzo, do you hear me though? Before we move on,
I can hear you.
I hear what I'm saying though.
I see what you mean.
Hey, do you have any comments for that?
You know what? I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to put. If the Rockets would have won tonight, Byron wouldn't have said any of this stuff. This would have never came up if the Rockets won. It's all good. He says this. He says this to me once a week. I can take it.
That's the beauty of being a fan.
It's my show though. It's my show. I can mute him. I could have ejected him, but I didn't.
You know, it's the beauty of being a fan. You don't always your home team because sometimes you just like other teams. Like I'm from Chicago, but my favorite team, is the White Sox.
In baseball, he likes the Cardinals.
Cardinals. I mean, so I hate the Cubs. I think they fucking suck, but I mean, they won a championship. I congratulate what they've done. I give them credit. I mean, it's the Cubs. I hate those freaking pinstripes. I hate Wrigley Field. I just hate all of this. Oh, we won a championship. It took you over a century to do it.
Hey, I got to ask Brady this. Brady, you're a Giants fan, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I respect that. I respect that. If you would have said A's, that would have been okay too. Bay Area. So it's all good.
Giants, Niners, Warriors.
There you go. There you go. If you were a Raiders fan, would you be a Raiders fan when they go to Las Vegas? Would you have stuck with them?
No,
because I know that would have been tough. But
all I gotta say is back to the original topic. Go
ahead, Byron. Close us out about the Rockets.
If Kelly Olynyk. Like I said, man, I think they're gonna win Game 4, and we're gonna have a series, man. We're gonna have a series. It'll probably go 7. And on top of that, Matt, you said you picked the Spurs.
I didn't pick Houston in this. No, I picked Houston in the series. I did.
Now, this is what I will say. After the first game of the season, I have a pinned tweet. I said Cavs Spurs finals. So
he did. Yep, he did. I think you called it before the season started.
Yeah, I called it before that. Maybe in the preseason I said that. So we'll leave that alone.
Yeah,
that was my hot take. My rant.
We'll get there in the comp when we get to our conference final. Yeah, we'll get there for our. It's not really that much of a hot take because the Spurs. If anybody was going to beat the Warriors, everybody would have thought it'd be the Spurs. Let's go to this though. We're not going to talk Celtics and Warriors and Wizards, but what we are going to take yesterday. Obviously, I've been saying it Gonzo, you've seen it. The Boston Celtics have been setting illegal screens the entire playoffs. They absolutely have. Horford and especially Olenek. Olenek has a history of being dirty. We know this. He injured Kevin Love a couple years ago. He sets a couple nasty screens on Kelly Oubre. So, and Byron, you know where Kelly Oubre went to high school?
Where?
He went to George Bush High School, Southwest. That's right. I'm dead serious. So I was happy.
He graduate.
Let's see. He's a second-year player. Let's see. He's 2015. No, wow. 2014. 2014. Because then he went to Kansas.
He was there when my sisters were there.
Yeah, 2014. Yeah, man. Kelly Oubre, Bush High School. Houston, Texas. Byron and I, everybody on this pod that knows, I always represent the Houston players. I love them.
Oh, do you?
I do. I absolutely do. The players. Yes, the players.
Here we go again.
Hey, Gonzo knows I always cut for the Houston players. So he gets up, he goes and he shoves Kelly Oubre to the ground. Good for him. I was cheering when it happened. He's not going to take that nonsense. He's not going to be punked. He's not going to be soft. I'm going to you, Byron. What did you think of what our man Kelly Oubre did to Kelly Olenek?
Well, the retaliation, of course, we know. Well, let me say this. I didn't know that the teams had that much animosity towards each other. Like, I didn't know that there was a true rivalry there. And what I will say is this. I think it's good for the game of basketball, for the league, that not that they're fighting each other, but that they have rivalries again, because I think there's too much fraternizing because AAU basketball has made them all friends, and I think that there's just too much fraternizing from team to team, and I think that it's interesting. It makes for better entertainment. That's my take on it.
I agree with that. My only problem is that this happened in the playoffs. I would have absolutely loved it if he had done this in the regular season. But with Washington's bench being just the complete dumpster fire that it is, man, that was kind of stupid. Go and get yourself ejected early in the game when they're out there giving minutes to Brandon Jennings and crap like that. I like it, but it was stupid.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think it was dumb for this reason. It was a blowout. As long as he doesn't get suspended, he had to do it. I'm with him 100%. I hit someone up on Twitter. They made a comment. Oh, that was so dumb. What is Kelly Oubre doing? It was smart. Send a message. You're not going to punk me. I'm a young player. You're not going to do this. You have a history of being dirty. I saw a comment in the Chicago on the Chicago Tribune, or an article on the Tribune website. I think it was the Tribune, and they were like, Kelly Oubre is the hero we need. He absolutely is. He's representing all millennials, letting them know they're not softies. You're not just going to come in and punk me. I'm gonna let you know, and he did the right thing. As long as he doesn't get, and if he gets suspended. What a travesty of justice. He did not throw a punch. I mean, earlier, I think it was Ibaka. I don't know if it was earlier this year or last year. He throws a punch. He gets one game. Oubre shoved him to the ground, which he flopped. Weak. The ref didn't even fall. Our guy Mike Morris said the same thing. That was weak. He shouldn't get a game. But he had to do it. He had to do it. Kelly Olenek is a punk. Sorry, both their names are Kelly. Who would ever thought two guys named Kelly would get into it?
I know you would think that was two girls fighting. No, but no, but like I was saying, man, I'm glad that these rivalries are back. Like, I love the fact that the Warriors and the Clippers hate each other. I love the fact that the Clippers and the Warriors hate each other. I love the fact that, the Celtics and the Bulls, not only just the Celtics and the Bulls, but now the Celtics and Washington, that they hate each other. Because like I was saying, man, I hate the fact, like, what really killed the NBA to me was how all of these guys are so friendly with each other. And it goes to show you that, like, I would love to see a team like the Bad Boys in today's game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got all these players that are so dirty, so mean. One white boy with a bunch of blacks, Bill Laimbeer, knocking the brothers out, and then they don't want to mess with him because they know they got to deal with John Sally and Edwards and everybody else got it
Rick
back.
Mahorn.
Yeah, Mahorn got it back, and they're like really, really, really like thuggish and like bullies. You know what I mean? And I think that the NBA needs to, not in the terms of like seriously trying to hurt people like the bad boys did, but I'm tired of all of the fraternizing. You know what I mean? It's just that's why we got these super.
Should we go back to how the Knicks were under Pat Riley, kind of that way?
To me, they were like a.
Uh-oh. Did the Gremlins get him? I think the Gremlins got him. We'll wait for Byron to come back. Gonzo, go ahead, man. What are your thoughts on this? Oh, he's back. Hold on, Byron, are you back?
Yeah, to me, they were like a better version of a better value version of the Bad Boys, man. Those Knicks teams, man. To be honest with you, like they weren't like, I mean, they weren't as tough. They were just like very scrappy because they knew that the clock was ticking, and they had a Michael Jordan in the Eastern Conference, and they had to be that way, as aggressive as possible, because that was their only chance of winning. You know?
Absolutely. Gonzo.
What I think like Kelly Oubre, should he be suspended? Probably not. All he did was shove, and Olynyk flopped. He does have a history of being dirty because I think he was the one who dislocated Kevin Love's arm in that series between the Cavs and Boston. First year, I think the LeBron and lost to Golden State. It's a lot of things in the NBA now that kind of just. It's funny because now we're suspending guys for for shoving. He didn't throw any punches. But meanwhile, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen had a clothesline by Lambeer. Falls broke, and they never even got the ball back. It's just a foul, 2 shots, and the Pistons got the ball back. It's just, it's crazy. Illegal screens now. It's like now they've opened the game up so much. There's really kind of all about entertainment now. Like now guys are taking, and we talked about this, they're taking 5 and 6 steps now. It's like so obvious.
What did we talk about last week? The gather step, where you have to put the you can dribble. You can take 2 steps, and then when the ball goes in both hands, now you can take 2 more steps. So you get 4 steps, but it's a gather step. Yes.
And honestly, being a defender is like you can't guard that now because. Steps in any direction, just start a dribble in any direction. It's like, whoa, like how do you prepare yourself for that? And that's one thing that makes Kyrie Irving's dribble, because his handles are good, but it's hard to defend it because he's already taken 2 steps before he's even dribbled the basketball.
That sidestep move he does is a travel.
Yes, it's a travel all the time. And even the screens, like, and it's funny because it's like screens have always been kind of bad. You would get Kevin Garnett and they would do a screen, but they would lean into you a little bit. Like, and I credit the Warriors for this new set of screens because when their first championship they won with Andrew Bogut's screens was so dirty. He was moving feet. He was grabbing people's jerseys on those screens, and they said nothing.
It's all true because I said this even talking about the Celtics screens. I said every team does it. What bothered me, especially in that Bulls series we just saw, Gonzo, and you watched it. We all watched it when they were calling Cannon for fighting over the screen. Are you serious? I get you're going to set the moving screen. I get it. They all do it. But if you're going to start calling defenses for fighting over the screen, what can you do if you're the defender? You can't play arms out on defense because Harden's going to hook you underneath and it's a foul. So what can you do as a defender? Let's bring the hand check back, right?
Absolutely. It's too many things given to the offense now. You can't try to get around the screen because you're going to be called for a foul. The offensive player can now take 4 steps. And you can't really play arms out. Yeah, exactly. You can't play arms out defense.
LeBron did it today. Kawhi was doing it all night. That little Harden does it. That little off arm, as Byron says, the free arm.
The free arm is allowed.
LeBron. Now, while you at it, man, take that zone game while you at it, man.
I don't mind the zone, but if you're going to
I
let
don't
a
mind
team
the
play a
zone.
zone, let them play a real zone. Let Gobert sit in the paint for 3 seconds.
LeBron, like he's pushing off every time he goes to the basket. Honestly, LeBron's handles aren't that great. His forearm saves him from being stripped. It really does because he's so strong. He just pushes the guy into the paint.
But Kawhi's the same way as well.
They just
Kawhi
stopped
uses
it.
that off arm. Kawhi was using that off arm today. I'm not even going to lie. And and Byron can. Here's where Byron can back me up because he was just hating on me for not rooting for the Rockets. I'm defending the Rockets now. Byron, did you see Kawhi Leonard using that off arm when he drives?
Well, I mean, he don't try to throw me a bone.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not trying to throw you a bone. It's true though. I'm just giving truths.
Yeah.
No, hold on. But see, that's a difference between using the off arm. LeBron James uses the Heisman Trophy stiff arm to push guys out of the way. That's completely different from using the off arm to kind of give a little nudge to get around somebody, as opposed to just extending your forearm out completely and pretty much stiff arming people. There's a difference.
So he just, yeah, I agree. I think we need.
Hand checking has to come back.
Yes.
Hand checking has to come back. There's no excuse for it because guys are too big, too fast, too strong. They're getting too good at shooting threes. What more can I do? It's almost now. It's like we pretty much have to, even with the foul calls now. Like you can put your arms out to play defense, and James Harden can stick his arms under your arms and flail his arms in the air, and it's a foul. So what you're telling me is now I really have to play basketball defense with my hands behind my back and just hope that we make more shots than they do and we win the game. I can't let defense affect the game at all.
I want to go to Byron on this one because Brady, we talked about it. Gonzo just mentioned it again with the chan checks. We've talked about this, the last couple of times. Byron, do you think we need to bring back the hand check?
I think so, man, because what I saw was the shift came in the early 2000s, man. I think when they started to change up the rules and they got to a point to where it was like, players were it was how do you guard Allen Iverson, a Kobe Bryant, and you cannot, because if somebody like AI or Kobe in their prime that shoots as well as they could,
but they did play in their prime with these new rules. What I think the better example, and you'll agree with me, this Byron, because this is our all-time favorite player, the both of us. Imagine Michael Jordan with these rules. Imagine Michael with the rules now.
It'll be like not even NBA 2K. It'll be like NBA Jam. He's on fire. His shoes will start lighting up. We'll see fire come from the basketball, man. A trail, because it wouldn't even be fair. And that's what I'm saying is like people like Gonzo and I have discussed before, people who are not avid watchers and have not been for years, they make these asinine comparisons, but they don't understand how the game has evolved, how the rules, rules change. And I think absolutely. For example, like people compare Kobe to Michael Jordan all the time. Oh, Kobe would do this. Dude, we don't know that. Michael Jordan was 60 on the Pistons when there was no flagrant foul in the league. He was getting meaning they can clean out the air, like Gonzo said. They're gonna put him on the line. He's gonna shoot 2 free throws, and he got it off. Yeah. So it's like with the hand check, he scored 60 on these guys. They are the dirtiest team in any sports of all time.
Yes. And let's say this. I used to not defend this guy. Byron may be with me. You guys may. Bob Cousy. He only dribbled with his right hand, right? But think of it. And we all laugh at, oh, man, if this dude played today, he'd be garbage. Would he? He didn't have the same training that these guys now. There were no AAU programs. There was no John Lucas working guys out in the offseason. These high school kids are getting worked out like pros now. Hell, I work with my cousin. He's in 8th grade. I'm giving him pro workouts. They didn't have that back then. So would Bob Cousy be a one-hand would he only just be a right-handed ball handler? No, he wouldn't.
We could take it deeper than that. We could talk about a guy like Dr. J jumping from free throw line in games and Chuck Taylor All-Stars. You telling me if he got really good Nikes on that he would dominate with just his – I'm not even talking about people say, oh, he couldn't shoot, he couldn't do this. The guy's pinky finger was 6 inches long. The guy this guy was so good, so athletic, he would outrun the ball, palm it off the dribble, swing his double jointed arm around and dunk on you. And then you got guys like Bernard King, who was really Kevin Durant before Kevin Durant. Like if you look at Bernard King and Ralph Sampson, you telling me Bernard King tore his ACL. That was a career-ending injury back then. You telling me that if Bernard King plays today and they fix his ACL up, that he's not Kevin Durant? You know what I mean? The brother could shoot. I mean, and it's just like people need to like really, really think about what they say when they make these comparisons. Like those guys can play.
Yes.
Those guys can't play now. It's all relative. It
is absolutely. It's funny.
Like somebody who shall remain nameless was like Pistol Pete couldn't really ball. He would be average today. Are you
watching his highlights? You know that's not the case.
Right. Are you on methamphetamine? Like, bro, Magic Johnson stole his complete game from Pistol Pete. Gonzo, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I can't say you're wrong. They played very, very similar.
So this with Will Chamberlain. Like Gonzo brought that, like that when Gonzo reminded us of all of that story when Will Chamberlain played a pickup game with Magic and let him pick his four.
He was 50. He was 52 years old. They say that Will Chamberlain, Magic Johnson said that he could choose a team that could beat Will Chamberlain. Will Chamberlain picked 4 guys to play with him. Magic chose Worthy and I think 3 other guys to play. Somebody came down and dunked on Will Chamberlain. So mad, he proceeded to score the next 9 baskets in a row and got about 7 blocks in a row.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, what does that tell you?
Because he was that skilled.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I heard a story about Will Chamberlain too, that he was on the set of, I think, Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger was lifting weights. I think he was like 475 pounds. He was doing inclines or something like that.
And this is when Arnold was like a world champion bodybuilder.
Sure, bodybuilder. And Arnold Schwarzenegger told Will Chamberlain, and they got the video on YouTube. You'll see it. Arnold Schwarzenegger told Will Chamberlain, "Hey, don't hurt yourself, big fella." Said Will Chamberlain got on there and bench pressed it about 25 times in a row. Said Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't speak to him anymore during the film of that movie because he could not believe the strength that Will had.
Hey Byron. Byron.
Better than
Byron. What was Wilt's vertical?
He had a 50-inch vertical at 7 feet tall. You
Yes.
telling me he's not better than Dwight Howard? Bro, I'm gonna give you a story to show how good these people were before we move on and we get back to the original thing, the handshake. A friend of mine, when I first graduated high school, I met this guy. This was years ago now, and he was telling me he played in a pro-am summer league and some pros with it. He said Steve Francis was there. He had to guard Steve, and he said George Gervin was there, and he had to guard George Gervin. Mind you, this guy was 19. George Gervin was 50. And he said, man, George Gervin destroyed me. He said there was nothing I could do. He said he was that good. I said, you talking about George Gervin Jr.? He said, no, Iceman, senior. I said, you couldn't. I said, he's 50. You couldn't guard him? He said, no, nothing he could do. You telling me you telling me that these guys are not good? So you have to factor in these things, man. And I would love to see, because the NBA has gotten so soft. I want to see some of these guys. These players aren't used to being touched. I want to see them play with a handshake and see if they dominate.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like Bill Russell. Bill Russell said he's in college. They used to put dollar bills on top of the backboard. He would jump up there and snatch the dollars off. Like, that's athletic.
And he's 6'9".
People take that lightly. And he's 6'9". Like, people take that as a joke. Like, that's an athletic skill. You mean to tell me? And Kenny Smith said it best on TNT one time. He said, to be fair, because the players back then didn't have the weight training. They weren't taking protein shakes and stuff to bulk up.
And that's why I say it's relative. They have all the training now.
They have all the training now. They said, be fair. If you took those same players from the older generation and gave them the same training that these stars had now, would they be better?
I don't want.
Absolutely,
I'm not say,
with the minds that they have.
I don't want to say they'd be better. I think that,
and they were team players too.
Yeah.
You know,
I won't ever go as far to say that they would be better because we don't know, but they would be just as good. Wilt is a whole nother animal because that dude was a freak. Like Byron said, 50-inch vertical. I mean, he played for the Globetrotters. The guy was fantastic. But I want to go to this subject now. It was a question. It was posed to me in a DM on Twitter. Obviously, we got and Byron, knows about this guy all too well. Brady too, being out there in Los Angeles. Our guy, Mr. LeVar Ball, the big baller brand guy, right? He just announced Lonzo Ball's first signature sneaker, the ZO2, right? $495. A lot of hatred's been going on Twitter, and obviously I'm going to you, Byron, because you're of everybody here. You're the big sneaker dude. So I got to go to you first on this, man. What do you think of what's going on with LeVar Ball here? The ZO2, $495.
Well, I have my notes here too. As you were saying about Maze One posted this tweet. Maze One is a very big guy, and he works for Complex. I've known him for years, and he posted a tweet on what people had to say in the sneaker community and even some former NBA players. And I want to share what Steven Jackson said. He said,
Are we talking about Steven Jackson from Port Arthur? Jackson.
Yeah. And this is what he says about LeVar Ball. His dad is an idiot. His son is an idiot for not shutting his dad up. His dad is going to get his son set up for failure. I understand you saying your son is the best thing since sliced bread, but your son didn't even make it to the championship in the tournament. Your son is not LeBron James. Your son is not Kevin Durant. Your son is not Steph Curry, okay? Your son has a weird shot that he probably needs to – he's going to be a top 5 draft pick because the draft is not that good in my opinion. But I'm telling you, whatever team he goes to, trust me, he's not going to be the man. He's not going to be the man. And, it's interesting to hear that take on it because here's what I really, really believe. It's one thing – I'm not a dad. I don't have kids yet. But it's one thing to have confidence in your kids and believe in your kids. That's just a typical that's very, very typical for a man to be proud of his son, especially when he's achieved as much as these kids, or he has the talent that these kids have. I will give LeVar Ball the fact that he basically he raised his children to become basketball players. And that's good that he gave them a future and that he invested in his kids. And that's very commendable. But I think that he said a lot I'm going to have to agree with Steven Jackson on. He said a lot of things that have stirred people up and that have to a detriment to children. The comments, they just became more and more outrageous. The more press he got, the more outrageous he became. Now, as far as him trying to be independent, I respect that, especially coming from, musical background, like I come from, the whole DIY, do-it-yourself, very commendable. This guy definitely has a lot of he had a lot of business aspirations. You can tell that this isn't something new. This is something that took years in the making that he's been planning, and he executed it fairly well, up until this point, up until his antics. But the antics will keep people away from your product. From what I heard, he sold out of all of the shoes.
That's not true. Actually, it's not true. He's only sold 398 pairs. That report of 1,000 pairs or whatever, false. He's only sold 390. But in defense, it's only been a couple days.
Okay. I think the price is outrageous. People aren't even paying that for Michael Jordan shoes, the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. People aren't paying that for shoes.
Okay, what about let me throw this out at you. What about what LeVar said? If you're not buying the big baller shoes or whatever, you can't say you're not a big baller.
Again, another outrageous. Somebody said something I saw on Twitter. They were like, he says that these companies exploit young black athletes or young black kids. What is he doing by expecting people to buy the shoes at that price tag? The shoes, they look better than I thought they would look. But you couldn't pay me money to wear them. You couldn't pay me good enough money to wear them. I mean, I wouldn't wear them. But I mean, and you know, and what's sad is that Lonzo seems to be a very humble guy. But I mean, just the influence of his father, I think that his dad is going to lose more for him than he will earn for him because people aren't going to want to deal with him. I think Lonzo Ball is everything that Joseph Jackson would have, well, what he was, but I mean, what Joseph Jackson would be if he had the platform of like social media, or if he lived in this age. I mean, it's just like really training his kids. I don't know, you know, grooming them for fame and success. But I wonder, is it really for him, or is it really about his kids? Like, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm going to you, Brady, next because you're out there on the West Coast, so you know all about LeVar Ball. What are your thoughts on this whole $500 for the sneaker? You know, what's going on here?
I got two strong thoughts about it. The first is kind of touching on what was just said. We all play sports, right? We all had that experience with people we play sports with who had that stereotypical sports dad who was trying to live kind of vicariously through their kid, who was kind of trying to make up for their own failures in sports by having their kids be successful. I don't think that's a very healthy thing to be putting on a kid, and it feels like that's what we're getting from LeVar, is that this is his dream, and he's trying to put his dream on his kids, which puts them in a really unfortunate position because they're still young. They don't want to break away from their family, but he's kind of putting this pressure on what he wants rather than necessarily on what his kids want. But the big problem I have with this $500 shoe is they supposedly went to Nike.
Wait a second. Let me get this right. $495.
$495. Pardon me.
$495 because it's
go ahead and round it up, man.
No. We give facts here. We don't give alternative. We don't do alternative. We're not like Donald Trump. We don't do alternative facts. We're gonna give just the facts. $495.
$550 after tax.
That's right.
But my biggest problem with those $495 shoes is that, you know, according to reports, he went to Under Armour, went to Adidas, went to Nike, all the places, tried to get them to partner with him. So that was his supposed plan. And then when they all say no, suddenly he's just coming out manufacturing this shoe. That tells me he has no business plan. He has no fiscal plan. He has no manufacturing plan. He has no capital, no investment, nothing. He's just trying to shortcut it. And admittedly, I'm a little biased right now because I'm halfway through the Phil Knight memoir. So I'm kind of been reading about how it took Phil Knight, you know, decades of struggling and losing money to actually have a successful shoe company.
I read that book too. It's awesome.
It's awesome. I'm loving it, right? But like, it's a struggle if you want to have a business, especially if you want to have a business that's competing with these other multi-billion-dollar industries. Like, this is not a new industry where you can form a niche. You're competing with Nike. You're competing with Adidas. You can't try to shortcut that. You can't just hype yourself up and then sell a shoe for 3 times above market value with no manufacturing plan, no marketing plan, no equity. It's a shortcut. And in my opinion, if Lonzo Ball had just gone to Nike or Adidas, taken what they had given him, he'd be sitting there on millions of dollars, his future laid out for him. And now he's what's probably going to be a shortcut failure of a business. And if he doesn't have a good rookie year, he might not ever have that endorsement deal lined up for him in the future. And in my opinion, this guy just screwed him out of millions.
I don't think Nike would take a chance on him because just because of his dad.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't
too much of a wild card.
Well, I mean, they don't want to align themselves with someone who has no filter, because it's like, I think business. The same disgust that people have for like a Kanye West, they have that for LeVar Ball now.
Yes.
You know?
I'm going to you, Gonzo. What are your thoughts on this Lonzo Ball Z02 $495 sneaker?
The shoe doesn't look. I like the dream. I commend him for following the dream. Price is utterly ridiculous for a shoe that I don't even know if your son's going to be a star, and I'm paying $500 for his shoe, and I refuse to pay $300 for a pair of Jordans. That's just crazy. Now, if the price dropped to anywhere between 120 and $85, I'll be glad to order me a pair. Uh, I have though. I think we're all programmed against this. The world is programmed against a small guy. When somebody small has a dream, everybody wants you to team up with big manufacturers, and they see it as taking what you can get. But why not live out the dream and try to get more for what you're worth? You know, because let's be honest, LeBron James got $100 million from a Nike contract, and trust me, his shoes are a big thing, but he's much bigger than his shoes. Shouldn't he be worth more than that? Nike's probably getting paid way more money for LeBron James' shoe than he is. That just sounds crazy to me that's possible. You know, and for the media, I understand everybody hate. We talk about the Kanye West thing. Yeah, Kanye West says stupid stuff himself, and nobody wants to take a chance on Kanye West because he's saying it. It's kind of unfair to blame Lonzo, who hasn't said anything, and everybody's crucifying him because of what his dad said. His father's an adult. We know that's his dad. He can tell his dad stop, but will his dad stop? What is Lonzo saying? He's not saying anything. He seems very humble. Nothing has came out of his mouth. He hasn't said anything bad about his teammates. He hasn't said anything about his past coaches. He just lets his dad do the talking. But that's really not a representation of him. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't brought any negative attention to himself. So it's kind of wrong to crucify him because of something that his dad is saying. You know, I think LeVar Ball he's kind of a marketing genius to a degree. Let's look at the Mayweather for a minute. You're never really good. You're never really going to market yourself good. Always being the villain. You know what LeBron James seemed to me that he really took off with his shoe? Is that once he went to Miami, he became a villain. You paid to watch him lose, or you paid to watch him win. Same with Floyd Mayweather. You know why he's so rich? And people pay money for those whack ass pay-per-views that he gives? Because guess what? He's also a villain. Community, everybody loves him, but everybody else pays to see him lose. So in the end, he's getting 100% of the dollar because all those who hate him, whether that be 80%, those 80% are going to pay to see him down, see his downfall, and the 20% are going to pay to see him win. The people that love him. LeVar Ball is kind of on both sides. Lonzo is playing the good side. LeVar is playing the villain. He's talking a lot of crap, and it's all for marketing because I don't think he really feels that way. I think he's talking to be comical, honestly. I think people take stuff way too serious. The society we live in is very, very, very sensitive, you know, to jokes, even to, you know, the way a person might display themselves on television. It's all an act. It's TV. Anybody that's on the TV, trust me, it's an act to it. You know, so we can't take everything he's saying seriously. You know, that's one thing. You know, I think we jump out to. I think sometimes we jump out and hate the wrong people, or we hate what people say right away before we actually get to know the person. You know, because like we can hate LeVar Ball, but meanwhile we love Donald Trump, and you know, which is crazy.
Hey, let's be honest. When we say we like Donald Trump, you mean we as in white people? No,
I'm not really saying.
Don't put me in this group.
I know black people who love Donald Trump.
Damn.
Like he's make America great again, and you know, but the point I'm trying to make is that we hate a person on TV. Even myself, I'm guilty of it too. I hate a guy like LeBron James, plays for Cleveland, and he beats my Bulls all the time. To be honest with you, he's probably one of the best people in the NBA. Talking about personality-wise and just being a good person, genuinely at heart. And we would judge him on a basketball game or way he portrays himself as a villain on TV. But we never really pay attention to who the real villains are. We let them pass, we let them slide because of I guess the positions that they're in. We gotta learn how to be balanced. You know, we gotta learn how to stop blaming Lonzo for what his dad is doing. He's talking. Like I see LeVar Ball as a TV personality. He's funny. He's very comical. I take nothing serious.
He's just trying to get view. He's just
I gotta go with Brady though. Like when he said vicariously trying to live through his kids, because I mean his kids are the one with the talent. Yes, he got them there, but I think everything is too much about him, man, and not his kids. He's doing what's in his best interest, and that, you know. But I agree with you to an extent that like people, and it's the same thing with Kanye. It's like, you know, I think that people, because I met him, and I think that people don't like him because he's so confident in himself. But why are you mad at the way somebody feels about themselves, that they're confident about themselves?
Right, you mad at confidence? Come on, that's crazy.
Yeah, right. And so it is.
Like,
go ahead.
I don't expect the person to say, I'm sorry.
No.
I wouldn't expect the person to say, they wake up every morning and go out in public and say, oh, I'm really ugly. You shouldn't say that about yourself. You shouldn't. Comfortable with who you are and comfortable in your own skin. Should I hate a person for saying, hey, I'm a very nice looking guy. I'm a very nice looking gal. No, that's confidence. Why do we hate confidence? That's what's wrong with. We hate people with confidence.
Because,
you know, the world will probably be people with confidence. Half of the reason why people are getting screwed over, half of the reason why people believe in politics and believe in foolish religions is because guess what? They lack confidence. They're insecure.
And when they get around people that are, and when insecure people get around people that are confident, they take their confidence as, you know, or they're cocky or they're conceited.
Yeah.
You know, it's like someone else's confidence and their low self-esteem equals that the other person is cocky. You know, so I feel like I won't down the man for being confident in his kids because they are talented, but I don't think,
except the middle one.
He's a good shooter. If he loses some weight, he could probably beat Klay Thompson. I don't know.
Yeah, get out of here.
But I think that
I don't know about all that. Hold on. Wait.
Yeah, I might be reaching with that one.
Yeah, you're reaching.
He's a good shooter, but these kids have not proven them. They haven't proven themselves at all. And you know, that's how I feel about it. I think LeVar has made himself a villain, but he brought a lot of attention to his kids. You know, and I think that what I will say is, you know, about the shoes, it's like, okay, it's whatever. I'm more concerned about, like, will LeVar drop? Will Lonzo drop in the draft?
Nah, he's not going to drop that far.
I'm just saying, because
I don't know. I think he might though.
If he drops, he'll drop from like 3 to 5 or 6. The latest he goes is 6.
You think so? I think he falls further than that because I think
so.
De'Aaron Fox will go above him. I think Dennis Smith will probably go above him. I think he will.
With all that said, I like De'Aaron Fox more than Lonzo Ball, but I don't think he goes ahead of Lonzo Ball. I think it's kind of set in stone.
I don't think he will.
Yeah, I think Lonzo. Honestly, I think Lonzo's going to go top 3. If it were just predicting, I wouldn't take him. Like, I'm with Steven Jackson on this. What Steven Jackson said, he doesn't see this draft being as deep. I know everyone going into this, oh man, this is the deepest draft since LeBron. Man, I don't see one guaranteed superstar in this draft. As much as I like, you know, Josh Jackson and Markelle Fultz, I don't see a guaranteed superstar. When LeBron came out, when Melo came out, those were the two at the time. We knew they were going to be studs, and they were.
But let's be honest, because they had the guy, what's his name, Lenny Cook, I think. He was supposed to be really, really good coming out of high school. Let's be honest. Do we really think LeBron and Carmelo were going to be superstars because we just believed that, or is it because we were force-fed that? Because we were talking.
I don't know.
They talked about
it.
They talked about LeBron since he was in 8th grade. They talked about him since 9th grade. He was in Slam magazine in high school. Sometimes people feed you stuff and you start to believe that we never really know.
Hey, that may have been it, but hey, you know what convinced me about Melo was his freshman year at Syracuse, his only year there. I knew he was going to be a star.
Right. Now, at this freshman year, I believe that about Melo. I figured that too. He looked really, really good.
I mean, LeBron, but
His freshman
LeBron,
year,
I mean,
absolutely.
LeBron had the size, you know, and all that, the skill set at being that size. I mean, because let's be honest, he's the size of Karl Malone. Karl Malone can't do what LeBron James does. So,
But I'm saying in high school, he was playing nobody was at his talent level, and nobody looked like him either.
well, that's true, but he, you know, as a junior in high school, he did beat Carmelo Anthony and Oak Hill, and Carmelo was a senior. So,
Weren't you at that game, Matt?
I wasn't at I saw Carmelo play in high school his senior year, but it wasn't against LeBron James. They didn't come to Houston for that tournament.
Okay.
But I did see Carmelo play as a senior in high school, and he they were so loaded that he didn't have to do a lot. I mean, I think he only scored like 21 points the game I saw. But they were loaded. I mean, because it's a prep school, so they can get all the talent in the world. I mean, their sixth man was a Wake Forest recruit, so there you go. But with this sneaker thing, man, I think Lonzo Ball, what he's doing is he sold 398 pairs. All he has to do is sell 1,000 pairs of this sneaker, and he makes almost $2 million. When you do the math, that's almost $2 million. He's selling it for $495 because of production costs. Brady hit on all that stuff. Good stuff there. I mean, if he sells 1,000 pairs, he's money. He's going to show the big companies, hey, I didn't have any of your backing, and I did it on my own. We'll see. His boy is going to have to produce on the basketball court. We'll see if he can do that. I don't know.
Because LeVar's hype is only working right now because we don't know how good Lonzo's going to be. That's the only reason that LeVar is in the news. It's the only reason people care what he says, because there's still the mystery of what Lonzo Ball is going to be. As soon as Lonzo's in the league, unless he's a superstar right away, no one's really going to care what LeVar Ball's saying anymore. If Lonzo's, backing up Isaiah Thomas and getting 10 minutes a game, suddenly no one's going to care about LeVar Ball anymore.
I don't see the Celtics taking Lonzo Ball.
No, me neither.
I don't. It's gonna be interesting. He's either one of two things is going to happen. He's either going to be proved to be a complete genius, LeVar Ball, or a complete moron. It just depends. How many sneakers does he sell? If he sells 1,000, he's a genius. And then on top of that, how's his boy going to do? If his boy struggles, it's a wrap for him. It doesn't matter. I don't care what your marketing strategy is. If your boy can't play, he can't play. He ain't selling sneakers.
I think his youngest son is probably going to be.
Yeah, we're not worried about him though. He's going to be a junior. He's going to be a junior in high school. He's a few years away. We're not worried about him. But Lonzo's got to get it done. We talked about it the last one we did. With his jump shot. You can't go right with the dribble. It's tough. As a right-handed shooter, it's easier to go left. I know that. I am a right-handed shooter. I prefer to go left. You can get into your shot quicker. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Lonzo Ball. We'll all be tuned into the draft. We'll have a whole draft special. We got a big rollout. We're gonna with our podcast. We got a couple of things we're working on that Pete and I are gonna announce in the next few weeks. We'll hit all that. But we're going to come back tomorrow, and we will, we got Charlie Jones coming tomorrow on with us to talk Warriors and Jazz. Like I said, he's former point guard at University of Houston, so it'll be good to have his intake. I want Byron to come back because, Byron is our Warriors hater. Brady, you're coming back tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we got that. And then Sunday, I said we wouldn't do. We will be back Sunday. My cousin's games, they're early in the day, so I'll be able to watch all the games on Sunday. So we'll come back Sunday night after the Rockets and the Spurs. Byron, are you down tomorrow and Sunday?
I think I have dinner planned Sunday, but tomorrow I should.
Okay, yeah, we need Byron tomorrow because we need our Warriors hater.
Oh yeah, we gotta have that, and then
we gotta have.
Game on, Byron.
Yeah,
Brady probably won't be too happy with me.
No, you're not. You're not going to be happy with what his comments.
I hope I never run into him.
Hey, Brady, it doesn't matter if the Warriors win or lose. Byron's going to have something to say negative.
Good. I like that.
Yes, he's going to have something to say negative. But I know Gonzo will be ready tomorrow. We'll get Charlie in here tomorrow. Mike Morris will be back again. And I've got some other guys I'm trying to get on here. So tomorrow night, I'm thinking, let's see what game time is, 8:30 Eastern. So that game will be over 11 Eastern. So we'll be on soon after the game is over tomorrow night. It's just one game, so that's all we'll be talking about. We'll have some little side topics, I'm sure, like we always do. And then, of course, Sunday we'll be on, same time as tonight, around the same time tonight, because we got the Rockets and Spurs. I think, let's see, around the same time. They play 8 o'clock. They play 9 Eastern on Sunday night. So we'll be back then. So everybody check out for us. I'll put the links up on YouTube and all that good stuff. Hopefully we can get Pete back on with us as well. I know he's doing some things now, so he's not able to make it. Hopefully he can come on tomorrow night for the Warriors with Byron, Brady, Gonzo, and we got Charlie coming on. So until tomorrow night, we'll see you all tomorrow night.